Okay guys, we're doing pre-calculus and we're doing lesson 4 of rational functions, which is graphing. So what you're gonna do is first you have to find the asymptotes and any removable uh, discontinuities, right? So how do you find this graph over here? Find this graph over here. You first factor it, right? So you factor it by just you have a 3 right beside it. Graphing calculator. We don't use the graphing calculator. The whole point is not to use the graphing calculator. So here you have this graph, this expression, this function right here, right? So 3x so you're taking the 3 out. Um, and you have 3 and 9 over here. And you're minusing or deducting 9, and this is a plus right here. So that's your numerator. And how about your denominator? Just take out 6, x to square, and minus 9, right? So which is x plus 3 and x minus 3. So immediately you see a removable discontinuity, right? So that will be x equals to minus 3 is the removable points. Okay, so I'm guessing in the test this will be your discontinuity. Okay, so D. And how about your asymptotes? A, right? So A will be here, x equals to 3 will be your vertical asymptote, VA, right? How about your horizontal asymptotes? What's the biggest um, degree for numerator and denominator? That'll be 2, right? So they have the equal degree. So you're gonna have just to use the 3 divided by 6, right? Divide their coefficients. So y equals to divided div by dividing their coefficient, you get the 1 over 2, right? 1 over 2. So 1 over 2, if I say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1 over 2 is over here. Roughly, right? You know what? Let's do it. Okay, so let's do it with this. Let's draw a straight line over here. Okay, that's 1 over 2, right? And so you have vertical asymptotes, which is at the 3, 1, 2, 3, which is right here. Okay. Okay. Which is right here, right? Okay, so this is 3. And you have a graph that is passing through what is our y-axis. Passing through y-axis, you make the x0, right? So how do you make the x0? Just put it in zero. Put it in zeros. And what would you get? Minus 81 and minus 54. Minus 54. 3 over 2, right? So 1.5, which is here. So you have intercepts over here between 1 and 2, and you're going closing in onto your 3, right? Which is your asymptotes, and you cannot never touch the 1.5. 1/2, so you're gonna start from here, but that is just us guessing for now, right? How about the other points? Right after you find the asymptotes, how about the x-intercepts, right? X-intercepts will be making this 0, so making the numerator 0, so that'll be 9, right? That'll be 9. So crossing the 9 over here, add your x-axis, which is somewhere over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Somewhere over here, right? So we're guessing this is approaching the 3, which is your vertical asymptotes, and approaching, crossing the 9, and towards, but never touch 1.5. Y equals 1.5, right? So that's just us guessing here. And remember, you have a removable point at x equals to minus 3. Okay, x equals to minus 3, you have a removable points here. Okay, so we put it down here as a halo point representing the removable point. And if there's any graph over here, any drawings over here, then this will also correspond to that. Okay, so we're actually using the testing points, but we don't have time for now. You can test it out yourself. The graph will be looking like this, okay? If you actually using the testing points, it will be looking like this, right? So just as this is crossing the 9. Without it, I shouldn't, okay. So this is actually looking like this, right? Crossing the 9 and towards the 1.5, right? So these two are the main drawings in this graph, and you can see right here, that's our graph here, right? Okay, so let's move on to another graph. So we're gonna draw, okay, this is like the other type of question. So this is asking you um, without having to know all the function, the full picture of the function, you're supposed to know, you're supposed to guess the um, most possible one, okay, out of the 4. All right, so you see here, you have unknown constant, but what do you know here? If you put down the 0 for the x, right, you're trying to get the what? Y-axis intercepts, right? So it's always changing between these elements for the rational functions. It's either the asymptotes, the intercepts, or the removable discontinuity, right? So you're just guessing them and figure them out, okay? So 12 divide by 12, right? Because all the x's will be 0, and so you divide the 12 by the 12, that will be 1. So let's find the 1, right? This is possible, but I couldn't see the graphs underneath it. right? So this graph does not intercept with the 1, right? This one does not as well, so I'm guessing we are choosing B. The, the answer is B, alright? So it's pretty easy. So moving on to another question here. Okay, so look, what are we testing here? It's very obvious that we don't know the pictures here and we cannot use the zeros, we cannot use the y-axis intercepts because when you plug in the zeros, you will still end up with the constants of b and d, which is could be a fraction and we don't know what it is, right? So what you're gonna do here is using the horizontal asymptotes, which is dividing because they have the same degree. So you're just dividing the coefficient in the front, right? Which is minus 1 divided by 1, which is minus 1. Okay, so which one has the y equals to minus 1 asymptote, horizontal asymptote? It's very obviously, it's obviously A, right? Okay, so let's move on to another one, vertical. So you can see the pattern here of the questions that so how about this one? We don't know anything about, we have no information, right? Supposedly, if you have the full picture, you have every piece of information to graph uh, by hand or by the graphing calculator, right? But this is asking you, this f of x is in fact of what? Rational function, right? But it is asking you to draw out the most possible one. So if you factor this, this will become 3 and 2 and x minus 3 and x minus x plus 2, right? So we have two possible vertical asymptotes because they are in the denominator, all right? So right off the bat, this is 2. Is this 2? Yeah, this is 2 plus 2 though. Yeah, minus 2 and minus 3, which is not this one right here. So this one has a discontinuity at 3. So it could be possible that it is a removable discontinuity because it can be cancelled out with the numerator, right? And this one has a vertical asymptote on x equals to minus 2. So this looks possible now, looking good now. Okay, but we haven't seen D. Let's see D. Okay, D. This is 1, so it could not be possible because there's no x minus 1 or x plus 1 as the denominator, right? So this is not possible. So the C is looking very possible, so that will be C, okay? So you can figure out the zeros, the discontinuity, right? So for this question, it is testing you on discontinuity, right? Okay, so that concludes our video. If you have any question, feel free to add my line and I'll join you with the line group. Um, if you have good luck on your test and have a good day.